Welcome back, everybody, to Kick On Rugby channel. Super Rugby round 7. We're already at round 7. Let's get in. We march on round 7. Having a look at the table quickly. Where are we? Here we are. So Hurricanes, too good, man. 6-0, leading the Super Rugby after 6 rounds, 27 points. They've got the bye this weekend, and they're still 5 points clear. That's massive. If anyone deserves a bye right now, Hurricanes. Fantastic. Then Blues right behind them with 22. Brumbies also on 22. Good to see. Aussie team in there. Chiefs, 18. Queensland Reds, 16. Rebels, pretty high for what's been going on behind the scenes. Rebels, nice. Did not expect that. 14. Drua, 13. And it goes on. So only 4 games this weekend. 2 games Friday, 2 Saturday. Like, what are we supposed to do the rest of the weekend? What are we supposed to do? It is byes to Hurricanes are having the bye, Crusaders, Highlanders, and Reds. What are we supposed to do, man? 2 games Friday, 2 Saturday. It's usually 2 Friday and then 4 on Saturday. Again, I think they need to bring in a Sunday game. Spread it out nicely over the weekend. So we've got like it's spread out, man. I don't want to. There's too much on Saturday. We've got things to do. A little bit like small other things to do, but we do have things to do. Anyway, we're gonna get straight into it. First game at Eden Park, Blues versus the Western Force. Blues coming off a massive win last week. Force coming off a massive loss. Force desperate for their second win. They've got 1 win in the bag. They won another one. Massive game last week. Their first ever water polo game versus Drua in Lautuka in Fiji. Did you see it? Like that was crazy. That wasn't rugby. They were playing water polo. They lost badly. Blues obviously wanting to close that gap of the Canes, or close the gap on the table on the leaderboard. They're 5 points behind the Canes. Canes have got the bye, so they can definitely do that. Looking at the teams, Blues obviously rotating, shuffling a bit, shuffling the forwards. Ta'aval back in, Papali'i back in, that back row, man, so strong. I'd love to see a bit more from Akira. So Tutu has been unreal. He's definitely like walked into that All Blacks jersey. If we're going on off form this season, he's been unreal. Big change in the backs. Funaki and Plummer, the new 9-10 combo with obviously Christie and Perafeta having a rest. Evans and Ioane, the centre pairing. Talia rested. Big rest there. He was 3 tries last week, but he's rested. I know the All Blacks have a system where they rest players every other game. Lamb coming in, and Forbes getting a starting. He's been unreal off the bench, getting a starting spot at 15. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes there. With the Western Force unchanged from what I can remember, except for Max Bury, who comes in at fullback for Harry Potter, who limped off in the Fiji Drua game. It'll be interesting to see how the players all pull up after last week, man. That was a tough game against the Fijian Drua. But, man, I think Blues will be too good here at Eden Park. I think what Blues have been building this season, how strong their forwards have been, and then how lethal their backs have been. Yes, sometimes also not playing to their full potential, but growing into it. As the games go on this season, you can see those stronger teams slowly starting to pull away. Western Force, I said at the start of the season, will be the wild card. You're not really going to know what team's going to rock up on their day. Like, they still have a strong squad, man. That back line is unreal. Their forwards are slowly starting to put it together. Tough one last week versus Drua. In those conditions, you can't really get things going. And you're not going to, like, Fiji and Drua played out of their skin. Force the week before, big win over the Reds. And they were getting their roll on and playing their shape, their variation on attack. And it was tough. They couldn't do that versus the Drua in those conditions. So we'll see if they could still pull it out. They could still shock us and get a win here. But I'm not too sure I'm not too sure about that. So I'm going to go Blues here, even with the changes and rotations they've made. That forward pack's too strong. That back row, that front row, Tuangafasi, too strong. I'm going to go Blues. Blues by 12. I want to go Blues by 12. Moving on, we've got Rebels versus Drua. That's the Friday night game in Melbourne. Both teams coming off massive wins last week. Rebels win over Waratahs. I don't think anyone saw that coming. And then the Drua, first ever Super Rugby water polo win over Force. 31-13, I think it was. Massive. In that torrential rain. What a game. And just be depending. We'll see now how their bodies pull up for next week's game. Rebels, no Rob Leota. Tai Tualima comes in. That's massive for them. Obviously, the captain, Rob Leota's been the captain, but they go forward. It's all been based around him. So that would be interesting to see how they react to that. Nick Ewerster comes in at 12 with Strawn injured. Obviously, Kellaway still not available. Matty Proctor comes in on the bench with Mason Gordon as well. Proctor obviously played, I think he played round 2 and then got injured that game and hasn't been back since. So it's good to see him back. And glad to see Gordon getting another crack. Carter Gordon's brother, he was fantastic when he came on 2 weeks ago. For the Drua, man, just super excited to see them now after a few home games, getting their form, getting their confidence back, to see them how they carry themselves on the road. Obviously in Melbourne this weekend, Darren Alangi comes back with that captain's armband, unchanged backline from what I can remember, dangerous backline. Oh man, how good has Vota and Marcy been in the centres? Obviously Armstrong, Ravola, been unreal. Lumani has also gone to a new level. And then Ravu Tamanda speaks for itself, man. He's been untouchable. Drosesi, I think, has been really good for them at the back. Just that safe as houses, where he's got the two crazy guys in Momo, and Ravu Tamanda on the sides. And Drosesi has been that anchor at fullback for them. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see how Drua go now on the road. Obviously, massive confidence boosters their past few games at home. Great wins. Melbourne Rebels, on the other hand, Rob Leota has been their talisman, their enforcer, their big ball carrier for them, getting over that vantage line, obviously leading by example as the captain. So it'll be really interesting to see that. Ravola and Carter Gordon, big matchup at 10s there. Man, this is a tough one, but I am gonna go Fiji and Drua. It's kind of my second team. I feel like it's definitely my second team. I feel like obviously Canes first, but Drua my second team. So I'm gonna go Drua here, even though it's in Melbourne. Tough one. I think they're right under each other on the ladder too. Let me double check. Yes. So Melbourne are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Drua 7th. 1 point separating the two. So that's a big one. There's going to be a big one. I'm going to go Drua. I'm going to go Drua by 8. Fiji and Drua by 8 on the road. How good. Moving on, we got Chiefs versus Moana in Chiefs land. Chiefs off a shock loss last week versus the Crusaders. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Obviously massive for the Crusaders. Love to see it. Don't want to see any team lose all season. Moana off a spanking from the Blues. Chiefs again rotating like all New Zealand teams are doing. Few rested, few squad rotations. Most notably back row in Boschia and Jacobson resting. Then Tupavai comes back into the back row. Into the second row. And then Finau is back in. And he's playing at number 6 in the back row. D-Mac is back with Tate Orangi at 9. Man, how about the Chiefs' 9 stocks? Xavier Rowe, Cortez Ratima, and then Tate Orangi. Jeez, how good's that? But good to see Damien McKenzie back. Let's go, my fantasy team. Man, these buys are really throwing my fantasy team out of whack a little bit. Poepi taking that captain's armband. Sean Stevenson resting with Nane Saturo at fullback. good to see Sotoro getting that. I mean, he's going to get the ball a little bit more. Fullback is a good. He's been great for them on the wing, but at fullback, it'd be interesting to see how he injects himself into the back line and what goes on there. Moana inclusions in the forwards is Sukopi Kepu taking that captain's armband as well, and then Jones comes into the forwards with Havili Talatui, I think it is resting or injured. New halves in Matavao, I think it is, and Havili. Fine and Nisi joining Julian Sevilla in the centres. Let's go. That'll be interesting. I love that. That's a good move. Nisi, so elusive on the wing. Let's see what he can do a little bit closer to the ball. Be really interesting there. And then excited to see Tamu Falau at fullback. Youngster, just excitement merchant. Give him the ball. A little bit of space is all he needs. Fast, quick, agility, skill. Really good. I love this move. At fullback, love this. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Still tough one for Moana. Chiefs obviously gunning, like want to move up a few spots here and really going to target this game for one, obviously to get their 5 points, get some new players, some squad rotations in, but really build on that points difference. So they'll be targeting this one with Damien McKenzie back as well. Moana, tough. They'll really have to convert every opportunity they get into points. I still don't think that'll be enough. I think Chiefs by 15. And then last one for the round, Brumbies versus Tahs, Aussie derby. Brumbies coming off a massive win, Aussie derby, the week before over the Reds by 1 point. Not many people saw that coming. Or maybe some people saw that coming, but not many people saw the Waratahs result last week coming, where the Rebels got one over them there. It's getting desperate for the Sky Blue in Sydney. Players, I don't feel like the players are reacting to what's happening. They've only really reacted in that Crusaders game, not much more. I haven't seen much more since then. This is a tough one. It doesn't get any easier. I say that every week for any team who's desperate for wins. It doesn't get easier. Brumbies team, we've got Pollard coming in for Lonergan. Tough injury for Lonergan. Hopefully he gets speedy recovery and hopefully he gets back out there soon. Tom Hooper comes in for Brown. Swain and Frost have been fantastic in the locks. Unchanged backline. I've been loving Tua and Crichton at centres. They've been really good for them. Strong in defence, strong in carrying that ball up over that first phase. And then Toole and Wright, winger. And Sapsford's been really good using him first phase. But Toole and Wright have been exceptional in the backs. A little bit of space. Maybe not even space sometimes. Wright's been creating space really well. And then Toole's just been finishing, man. So quick. Then for the Tahs, Angus Bell in, Gamble in. They were both named last week but didn't play. So hopefully they're named this week and play. Massive forward pack with Holloway, Jed Holloway and Fergus Lee Warner in the locks. And then you've got Swinton, Gamble and Sinclair in their back row. Longy Gleeson, not out. Is he in the... Let me double check. Is he in on the bench? No. So he might be resting as well, which is... Hopefully he's not injured. Maybe he's just resting because he's been unreal for them. And then Foketi comes in at 13 with Parise going to the bench. Tahs need to react. They need to show something. It's almost like poking a stick at a sleeping person on the side of the road. Like, are you alive? Tahs need to react. Tahs need to come alive. Brumbies, if Brumbies just keep their form that they've been doing the past few weeks, I see Brumbies winning this one. It's down in Canberra, I'm pretty sure. So it's gonna be it's just tough. Like I said, it doesn't get easier. This is a tough one. Aussie derby, so anything can happen on the day. But I do think, especially someone like Lungy Gleeson not being there, he's been so instrumental for this Waratahs forward pack. Brumbies, Lola Sio in form, Tom Wright in form, Toole in form, Valentini in form, Charlie Cale in form. I'm going to go Brumbies by 5. Brumbies by 5. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have you been loving the Super Rugby as much as I have? I've been frothing it, man. It's been great to watch. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.